Okay, well, I'm really excited tonight. It took us a while to get this person in. Toledo's not the biggest town, you know. And whenever you tell the speaker how to get here, you say, you better hit Detroit, because they'll never find the Toledo airport on their list. But how many want to jumpstart your financial future with self-directed IRAs? Okay. Who wants to know all these new IRA changes and the new rules 2024? Yeah, really. I don't want to do it wrong because then there goes the IRA, right? How about a few pro tips and insider strategies from somebody that's been there forever? Not just somebody trying to teach it, right? How about 20 ways to fund your real estate deals with your IRA? I'm there for that one. Yep. So let's do some winning deals with your IRA. No better than Carl Fisher of CamaPlan.
Thank you very much, Anna. I really appreciate it. Good to see you. So how many of you guys knew that this meeting was about IRAs tonight? Okay, a few of you. And none of you really wanted to learn any of the things that Anna said, and you didn't raise your hands. What am I supposed to take away from that? It's a little bit scary. IRAs to me, I'll tell you a story about them a little bit later, but they're one of the best wealth building tools, IRAs, 401ks, that I've come across in my life, okay? Anybody ever hear of Peter Thiel? Does anybody know how much he has in his IRA? How much? Billions. Yeah. Right? Is he a pretty smart guy? Are you looking it up for me? You can tell it to me. And Mitt Romney had millions. Say it again. Who did? Romney? He wasn't one of our clients, but whatever. I'll take your word for it. At least in the newspapers, they said he had over 100 million. So I kind of look at this. Everybody was complaining about it. Elizabeth Warren, one of the senators, were trying to get Peter Thiel and say, hey, this wasn't for the rich. All he did was follow the rules. So I kind of take these things and I listen to them, and I don't care which side of the aisle they're on. I just try to take what's good that I see other people doing. If I can do it half as good or a quarter as good, and I can get a few million or 100 million in my IRA, I feel good about it, right? And I'll talk to you a little bit about that. There we go. Let me start off with almost everything I'm going to talk to you about today is experience and information that came out of IRS publications. And it's all about being truthful tonight. I'm going to give you the right answers. If you have questions, I want to hear them. There is no sex and sizzle in IRAs. So if you came here to be entertained, it's not happening. I'm an engineer by training, so this is all about making money and using it the way that a lot of our clients do and some of the things that I've done myself. Is that all right? Right. I'm not your accountants or attorneys, but we will do conversations because a lot of you will not believe what I'm saying today, or you'll misstate it. And if you ever do that and you think that I'm right, call me up, let me know that, and I'll tell you whether you heard it or not right. And then if you want to get your CPA or financial advisor on the line, I'm ready to do that so that you have an honest opinion of what everything is doing. I'll give you CamaPlan's background. We'll talk about self-direction. Did anybody come with any other questions that they wanted after you read about self-direction, said I really want to know something with it? Okay, good. I'll find out what that is in a minute, right? If it's not up here. Then we're going to talk about types of money. right? And I'm not talking different currencies or Bitcoin, any of that stuff. I'm just going to talk to you about the way money is taxed, right? Assets that can be self-directed, exactly how it works and how simple it can be. Is the economy in Toledo the same as New York or Miami? Right? So you have to take the economy where you live and where you want to operate. So I am going to ask you, because I travel all over the United States and I like to hear the differences, because what the economy does, I always call it, I take what they give me, right? So I want to know what the economy is so that I can adapt to it, right? Everybody else will be out there complaining and they'll say, oh, there's a problem with this, there's a problem with that. And in my mindset, I was switched, you know, I think I was about, you know, late 30s, early 40s, and my head ended up switching over at that point, looking at problems as opportunities. And if you do that, there's a lot of money to be made. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I was born in New Jersey. My mom and dad moved down there when I was 2 years old. I went to Cornell University, and this stuff, I tell you, was not taught to me. All right, that's Ivy League college, and they didn't talk about this. And a lot of the questions in economics was, without considering taxes, what's the answer? And I got enough of them right to pass the class. But what that did to me was, after I got out and I'm paying taxes, I'm saying, nothing doesn't get taxed. How can they teach me that in economics at a university and make me pay for it, and everything is taxed? CamaPlan was started in 2004. I'm one of the principals. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I'm a real estate investor. I own real estate today in a couple different cities. I've been consolidating them because I'm getting older and older. I don't like paying taxes. I was married to my wife in '81, and we have 8 grandkids right now. And that's what I'm basically working on now. I'm trying to leave a legacy for my kids. And it's not just money, okay? Money's the easy thing to do. You want to teach them, you know, what money does, how to make it, and because things are definitely going to be different for you guys, a lot of you, than they are for me, right? My runway's a lot shorter than yours. You know, it's going to be a lot different than my kids and my grandkids. So I have to teach them values, morals, and how money works, and then they have to adapt that as we go on. But everybody in this room is, you know, a pretty good survivor, right? You come from a long line of people ahead of you. So somewhere along the line, your people figured out how to survive and how to adapt. So that's what you're going to teach as you go down the road, right? 2004, we've got excellent service. And part of that is because I work with people that I like. If I don't like you, I'll transfer you to another. I mean, I'll tell you, but we'll transfer you to one of our competitors. So we help fund managers. Anybody do syndications in here? You've done it once, right? Or funds? Or how many people do money raising? Want to buy a couple of them back there? 1 or 2. So if you don't, how many people do individual properties? Okay, single family homes, commercial. Well, Anna, you've probably got every type of property. I thought you owned Toledo, you know. She's been doing it for 50 years, got every license and things out here. So we're here, we want to educate you and let you do this. I wouldn't be up here talking about it if I didn't think it was a really good thing. This is a little thing about me. This is on our website. That's my partner. She happens to be my sister. I'm from a family of, I'm the oldest of the 12. She's number 10. So there's 15 years difference between us. She knows a lot about websites and systems and software, and I don't touch any of that. So she said, well, what are you going to do in the business? And then she said, you're going to be sales. And I said, well, I don't know anything about sales. I'm an engineer, you know. She says, well, I'm doing this, you're doing sales. And that's how it ended up, you know. And she's 15 years younger than me, pushing me around. So that's what it is. So now I'm going to ask you something, right? Where are you guys as far as money goes? Are you looking for money? How many people in here are looking for money? Everybody? No, only about 7, 8, 9 people raised their hands. All right, there's some. What are you, Jay, what are you looking at? You said you had $30 million.
My company did.
What?
I have all my 29.
29, he wants to get to 30. Well, you know what? He can take your, I only met him tonight, and I'm not sure, but if you have money in your IRA, he can take it, and he'll pay you a percentage, and he'll lend it out to somebody else, just like the banks, and make more on your money. Who likes that? Okay, you guys like it, right? You can do that. How many people in here have an IRA or a 401k? Okay, so think about that. Is it getting the most that it can be getting? Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat that I am no good at stocks. Okay, I bought software, that red, green, and yellow software. Probably you guys younger don't even see it. It comes on like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I bought it. And somebody knows exactly what I'm talking about back there. But, you know, you're sitting there, you got 4 kids, you're trying to get them into college and this other stuff, and you're saying, I need more money. So I bought that. And I also bought a book at around the same time with blackjack, and I'd rather play blackjack than do the stock market. All right? But the stock market's doing great, you know, for most people, you know, and not very, very good for me, because when I get into it, I pick it, right? I had Wachovia stock when it was 30, and then it went to 10 cents in the morning. I think I had Enron stock, I had Eastern Airlines stock, I had Lucent. A couple other people are in my same boat. It's not laughing, you know, they lost a lot of money on that stuff. So if you're looking for money, how many people are looking for money again? Okay, so there's people in this room right now that have IRAs that want to lend that to you. I think, right? How many people want to borrow money? I mean, want to lend their money and be like the bank, be like Jay over there. You know, how many people would take 12% on their money if you could lend it out for 6 months or a year? Yeah, you'd do that? You're doing it for 15 now. All right, how many people would borrow money at 15? Right, but the deal is, if you need the money, right, and they want 15% of your deal, right, a deal minus 15% hopefully is better than no deal at all, right? If you're not going to have the deal at all, you might have to borrow money for the first part of it, right? Because if you keep thinking you're going to make the money, put it in your savings, and when you have enough, you're never going to get there. I'm going to go into it, and Joe Fulvio over there, you saw, he introduced himself. He'll give you a link to 20 ways that your IRA can get other money and borrow it, and it'll give you ideas on what you guys can do, right? And this is all free, right? I'm not asking you for any money. I mean, Joe already said you could open up an IRA for $1. That wasn't true, but since he said it, I have to stand by it, because I said it's all about truth. You know, that was till the end of last year, so he's only 6 months behind, right? So the other one is, how many people want to reduce taxes? Okay, I mean, some of you probably aren't even paying taxes, right? Because when I had kids and I had properties, I got it down to like I wasn't paying anything. Then those properties appreciated and kept going up, and rents went up, and depreciation went down, and I buy and I hold. So now I'm making a lot of money on them, and I'm going, damn, I don't like paying those taxes, right? So I've developed a thing. I've been in this, right, since 2004, 20 years. We have thousands of clients, billions of dollars, and I learned a lot from our clients and their experts and things, and I'll pass that on to you guys. And then the other one is growing wealth. Does anybody know what tax bracket they're in? Okay, can you shoot it out in your mind? Do you mind? Oh, in your mind, you know what it is? Well, the maximum tax bracket is like 38% today, 37.5%, but there's an Obama tax in there that if you make that much, they throw on another 2 or 3%. So it's somewhere, you know, between 37 and, say it again? Around 40, right, yeah. You're probably in that tax bracket since you know it. Right, so anyway, that's where it is. And just another fact, in my lifetime, do you know what the highest tax bracket was? 50%? Who said 90? It was 92%, or 92% when John Kennedy got into office. And John Kennedy got it knocked down to, I think, 70%, right? A Democrat, right, who usually pushes it up, got it down to 70%. So the maximum tax bracket today is pretty much 40%. Anybody know what the lowest was in my lifetime? The lowest maximum? No? Oh, that was before they had the income tax, but say it again? Yeah. No, I'm talking about U.S. in my lifetime. In my lifetime, damn, you know, where am I now? You know, I don't even buy green bananas, so you're pretty close. So the lowest was 28%. So we're between 28 and 70. 28% was with Ronald Reagan. All right, so from John Kennedy to Ronald Reagan, it got down to 28%. Yeah, not in my lifetime. I was talking about because that's all I really care about. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not going back to the Kings, right? And the Tea Party and all that, you know. So think about this. I'm thinking you guys fall in at least one or two of those categories. All right. So IRAs, 401ks. If you set your blueprint out right, you can set that up. All right, what's a self-directed IRA? You can read that screen, but basically a self-directed IRA is one that you can invest in anything you want. Okay, that isn't illegal, and I'll tell you what's illegal. The IRS never says what you can invest in. They only tell you what you cannot invest in, and I'll tell you that in a minute. And so this gives you a lot more diversity, because you can invest in real estate. You can invest in notes and mortgages. You can make them, you can buy them. You can invest in private placements or syndications or funds with other people that are buying 800 apartments at one shot. Right, more passive income. So, and you can transfer your IRAs and 401ks without any tax penalty, anything. It'll just come over like you're moving it from Schwab to Vanguard to TD, whatever it is. All righty? And then the main thing is you get to invest in what you know and understand, right? I already said I don't understand stocks very much. I have a cousin who went to Princeton and worked for Lehman Brothers, and I asked him one time what a derivative was, right? Now, I know what a derivative was, you know, in calculus, and I could do those, and I think it might be something like that, but he took 45 minutes and explained this to me one time at a wedding reception, and I'm like, I don't know if I drank too much. I hadn't even started drinking, right? And all I knew at the end of the 45 minutes was, I'm never investing in derivatives. I don't know anything about them. So, but he makes a lot of money doing that, and Lehman Brothers went away when they didn't get saved like Goldman Sachs and the other people did. They might not have known the right people. But he found another job because he could really spin that stuff. So, how many people think what I'm telling them sounds good? Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you guys are just trying to make me feel good, right? But thank you, I appreciate it. If you ask people what I'm telling you today, right, and they're probably on this list, right, and I've had people do it, and it hasn't changed much over 20 years, actually 30 years that I've been about it, right? Some will say it's not legal. How many people think I came from Florida, brought Joe from Philadelphia, and came here to teach you stuff that isn't legal? Right? No way, right? You've already seen Mitt Romney's tax returns. You've heard about Peter Thiel, you know, some of the stuff that supposedly got leaked by mistake. It's legal, not many people say it, but back in 2000, you couldn't find any books on this subject. You couldn't find any articles. There wasn't any Forbes magazines. So this wasn't around, but they've been doing it since the late 70s, okay? The wealthy have been doing it. The big unions have been doing it, right? But the little man couldn't do it. Right? I even called up the IRS when I heard about this and asked them about it. And the one woman says to me, no, you can't do that. And I said, well, can I talk to your supervisor? No, he doesn't want to talk to you. I went, okay. You know, so I hung up the phone, and IRS at that time was an 800 number, but they were all over the country. So I got another woman that answered the phone, and she says, I never heard of that, but let me ask my supervisor. I'm going, oh, where are you from? You know, and she's from, you know, the Midwest. I said, well, you're a lot nicer than the one from Chicago. She says, let me ask my supervisor. And at that point, I don't know if the phones, you could put them on hold or not, but I'm listening to her talk to her supervisor, right? And her supervisor's saying, yeah, there's some way to do that, but nobody really ever does it except the really wealthy. And he can get that from his accountant if he's one of the really wealthy, you know. So he gets back on. I said, well, you know, is there anybody that can look up this and tell me what statute it is or where I can find it in the code, right? Because the code, you know, was paper then. There wasn't any searches, you know, unless you went through it, and it's all the way up to the ceiling, right? So you had to get something there for it. And you could go to the library then. They actually had stuff in the library that was good. So at that point, they didn't even want to tell me, right? And I'd already gone to Cornell's library. None of this information was around. So I did find out it was legal, and it's there, and people want to do it. The second thing that all of these advisors will tell you is that it's risky, okay? All right, let's ask you. How many people think real estate's risky? All depends. It's risky. It's risky, okay? It can burn down, right? You can buy it too high. Not that it can't fix itself, you know, and you can't have insurance, but it's risky. How many people think the stock market's risky? All right. How many people think real estate's riskier than the stock market? Of course not. You're in a real estate meeting. That's why you're here. You know it, right? But it depends on what you know and understand, right? So I don't know of any investment that isn't risky. I don't know of any, right? So is it risk? Yeah. When you invest in either a property or a stock, or you lend money on a house, that's all has some matter of risk to it. So am I doing that? I'm not lending money on the house. I'm not buying the real estate. You are. So when your money comes to us, we're putting it in an FDIC insured account until you tell us to go buy a house, lend that money out, or, you know, put it in a fund to be part of the owners of an apartment complex. So that risk is on you. Do you want to take that risk or not? Or do you want to leave it up to your advisor to help you, right? If you have an advisor, what's his first job? Say it again? and his family, right? He's not going to put your well-being over his, right? So it's just a matter, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of fact that that's where we are. So the risk is going to come in what you buy, not when your money's sitting with us. And if you're worried about it, you know, don't put your money to us until like 2 days before you need to put it with the, you know, whatever you're buying. But we've never lost anybody's money within, you know, the 20 years we've been working, you know, and been in operation. So the next one is it very complex? Number one, I can do it, so I don't think it's that complex. But a lot of people can do it, and most realtors can do it. And let me just do this exercise. What are you raising your hand there, Anna? Yeah. There you. So everybody fold your arms, just like that. Pretty easy? Yeah? Okay, now fold them the other way. How many people had to think about it a minute? Right? A little bit different, right? But once you learn it, it's pretty much there. And it's the same thing with the IRAs and 401ks and how to do this. So don't let it scare you. Think about it. And suppose, let's just take it, let's say you can make $400,000 by flipping deals in a year. And you like to live on $100,000. Right? So you flip $100,000 or you put $100,000 worth of real estate that you take in for the year, and the other $300,000 you put in your IRA or 401k or health savings account or educational savings account, and use that money for education, health needs, or for your retirement, right? Why pay taxes on $400,000 and have them take that money away from you right now? Stick it over here and let it work for you for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Does that make sense? Who taught you that? What school taught you to do that? What even mentioned it to you? That's why these RIAs, I thought Anna was talking about that earlier, you have to go to the RIA now. It's more important than ever. Types of plans that can be self-directed, right? There's Roth and traditional, right? There's SEPs and Simples, they're business accounts. And then there's spousal and custodial. Those are for spouses, duh. And custodial is for people that are not adults, you know, children, teenagers, anybody, I guess, under 18. Then there's other retirement plans, 401ks, right? Before, 401ks had to all be pre-tax money. Now they can be post-tax money. You can have defined benefit plans out there. You can have cash balance plans out there. And you can have, right under the defined benefits, and you can have 401ks, TSPs, 403Bs. Anybody in here work in a hospital or for the government? Wow. Anybody an attorney? They never admit to it. So I see a hand go up. Yeah, there we go. See, I got them to admit to it. Other accounts, health savings accounts, educational savings accounts. How many people pay their own insurance? How many people have their insurance with their company? A few of you, I don't know what that means, but I'll go with it. But yeah, but if you have health insurance, you should look up health savings accounts. When they first came out, you know, back in the early thousands, by the time 2008 and 10 rolled around, they were pretty good. Now they've gotten a little watered down, and I'm not sure, but I ended up getting on Medicare because I hit the magic age, and once you're on there, you can't contribute to a health savings account anymore. But I took my health savings account because the money goes in tax deductible and comes out tax-free if it's spent for medical things. So I've been paying my medical bills along the way, but I've kept all the receipts so I can pull out like $60,000 from the last 20 years at any time from my HSA tax-free. But I just leave it in there. I have it invested in notes and people are paying me interest on it. And whenever I buy anything that's a medical deduction, I use the same credit card every year, and that gets put into my QuickBooks by my secretary or bookkeeper. And now I know how much money I've spent on medical bills and how much money I've made. And that's all tax-free. Does that seem pretty good? You know, and right, so you get a deduction going in. And if you don't want to save it, put the deduction in and then spend it when you have to buy eyeglasses or get a filling filled, or, you know, if you have a baby, you know, you got to bring them to the well baby care. And I don't know, now there's, what did I hear? You know, life has changed so much for me. They have reveal parties and they have push presents and, yeah, you raised your head. You knew what it was, huh? Yeah, you know, so I'm like, wow, man, you guys really got it tough, the young people this age, you know. Life was so much simpler for me. You want to talk, number one, with your insurance agent, and number two, if you work for somebody, you want to talk. The question was, the HSA, who should you talk to about it? The answer is you should talk to your insurance person, and you should talk to your company, because most likely companies have the health savings accounts with a high deductible health plan.
I'm self-paid. I'm self-pay
So
insurance.
you're paying yourself.
No,
So
I mean, I pay my own insurance. I
that's
don't
what
work
I'm
for a
saying. So
company.
yeah, so I would talk to your accountant and say, hey, will a HSA help me? The answer is yes, it's going to help you. You're going to get a deduction, and you know, people have been calling for the healthy and the wealthy. If you're real sick and you're going to spend everything and you don't have enough money for it, it's still a good thing. I haven't been on it for I think 4 or 5 years, but I still have my plan and I'm still generating money for it and paying for it. But yeah, ask your accountant, but ask your insurance agent about those and see what it is. It's a lower premium for the most part, but they have a maximum out-of-pocket amount, but you get a deduction on the money you put in there, and if you need it, you have it. If you don't use it, it's definitely a good deal, in my opinion. But the numbers don't lie. They can run it for you. And educational savings accounts, they're like the 529 plans. I don't think they're as good as the 529s today. They used to be better than them. The amount you can only put in it is $2,000 per year, but you can put that up. Your kids can use it until they're 30 years old, and then they can push it down to their kids or to a sibling or to a cousin. So you can push that money around and you can sell it, et cetera. So there's all kinds of strategies. Now, I only have, you know, an hour and a half here tonight, or even a little less. So I can't tell you all these strategies. I'm just going to try to whet your appetite because Anna asked me to come back on a Saturday, I think at the end of the month, and I'll talk to you about the things we're going to do there. But, you know, I heard one person in here today said, well, I'm too old to do this. You know, and I think, I don't know what age she was, but the most things I hear is, you know, from a 70-year-old, I said, man, I wish I would have learned about this when I was 40. And then a 40-year-old says, I wish I would have learned about this when I was 20. So it really depends on where you are with it. Tax-free money is going to make you wealthier than paying taxes on it. Types of self-directed IRAs, this is the same kind over here. How many people know the difference between a Roth and a traditional? A couple of you. All right, so the traditional side, you put money into the account and you get a deduction for it. So let's say, just for keeping the numbers round, you make $50,000 a year. and you put $6,000 into your IRA, you're only going to pay taxes on $44,000. All right, so you're going to save that money, so you're actually giving yourself the government's portion of that money. All right, and then that money is going to keep making money, right? So if you put that money into your account and that money keeps making money and they don't take taxes out of it, you're going to have more than the person that keeps making it on the side, right? So at the end of that, and hopefully I've got a slide in here that shows that, right? And this side is the tax-free stuff. The answer to that is when you put money into the Roth account, that's after you pay the taxes on it, it goes in that account, and now that starts making money for you. The difference between the traditional and the Roth is when you pull the money out of the traditional, you pay tax on it. When you pull the money out of the Roth, you do not. All right, so let's say you took that $6,000 and turned it into $600,000 over 40 years. When you pulled that $600,000 out in the traditional account and you were at the top tax bracket, 40% of that would be gone, or $240,000 that they would take for taxes. If you pull that $600,000 out of your Roth, you get to keep the whole $600,000. I can't say it again. Yeah, you paid the tax on the $6,000. Yeah, you paid the tax on the $6,000 up front. The question was, did you pay the taxes on the Roth money up front? Yeah, when you put it in there, you paid the taxes. All right, so let's get back to types of money. How many people in here have W-2 money or 1099 money? Okay, 4 or 5 of you. That's pretty good. What are you raising your hand or no? All right, so W-2 money, what do they take out of it? Well, let's just look at it, right? Fed is 0 to 39%, 39.8. My friend in the back said, around 40%. All right, state 0 to 10. Do you pay state income tax in Ohio? Do you know what it is? Is it graduated or is it the same with 7%? Okay. 7.4. No, 7.65 is Social Security and Medicare. Whatever, 4%. I don't know what it is. Why do you think I'm in Florida? They don't have any state tax. Right? And do you have local taxes? Does Toledo have a tax too for working? Okay, so what is it in Toledo? 1%, 2%? 2%. All right, so up there, let's just take the middle, right? Let's say you're at 20% on the federal level, you're at 4% on the state level, and you're at 2% on that. So 24, 26%. And then your Social Security and Medicare, if you're paying yourself, like you're a self-pay or a self-job, then you're paying 15%. So you're already at 26%, and another 15 is 36, and 5 is 41, right? And what do we take out of that? We took 40%. All right, so you get to keep 60,000. The other 40,000 is gone, right, to all those taxes. Some guys are rubbing their eyes and getting tired. I know, no sex and sizzle, right? And then it also makes you feel bad when you think about all that money you paid over year, right? Now, why do we get into real estate? Because that money is called passive. Why do we like to do loans like Jay does over there? Because that money is called passive. Who thinks real estate is passive? It's not, but they classify it that way, right? So the only difference between this and the W-2 is that you don't have to pay the Social Security and Medicare, the 7.65, and your employer doesn't have to pay the 7.65. because it's in real estate. So that's why you do real estate. So if you make 100,000 in your real estate or loans, then you get to keep 75% of that. Pretty good, right? A lot better than 60. Now, if you do that in your IRA, you get to keep 100 of it. So now you have 100,000 to reinvest. The guy in the top, right, the W-2 1099 only has 60,000 to invest, and the guy, the rental and note guy has got 75,000 to invest, right? But remember what I told you, tax deferred, right? So when you take that money out from reinvesting it at 100%, you have to pay taxes on it. So do it down at the Roth. And here's kind of my advice. Forget about your W-2 and 1099, right? Because has the president ever come and helped you get a raise? How about the governor? Do you even know his name? Right? Has he ever come in and said, hey, let me help you get a raise? No. Right? Toledo mayor? No? How about any doctors or from Social Security or Medicare, they ever come in? But bam! As soon as you get that raise, you don't even give it to them. They don't even say thank you. They just take it right back out. So forget about that. Forget about the sleepless nights of that. Get a Roth and start working your Roth, right? Leave all those people behind. Does that make sense? All right. This is the difference, because in the charts, if you're in the green, you're in an IRA. If you're in the blue, you're paying your taxes every year. So you do the exact same investments, but in the beginning, you open up an IRA, and one of the investments is in an IRA, the other one is you pay your taxes every year, right? So because of what I said before, those charts right there, and any financial advisor will tell you this, and I don't care if it's in stocks or syndications or real estate or notes, the same numbers will go like this. And you can pick it and talk to your advisor, but this is what the IRAs and 401ks are, right? No sex and sizzle. Who reads about this? Who's ever brought it up at their dinner table with their kids or anybody else? Nobody, right? You spend more time figuring out where you're going on vacation than you do on this type of money. And all you have to do is do it a couple times, and then just keep doing the same thing year after year, right? Paying attention. Or you have people like us that'll tell you, hey, this is what you have to watch out for. All right. Oh, and why is it different? Right, I could put a third chart up there, but when you start taking this money out, you're going to be taking it out based on what the government tells you have to take out. And number two, who controls the tax rates? The government, right? I wouldn't even cut that deal with my own wife, right? Let alone with the government, who I trust like about that much. Right? Types of investments that can be allowed in this. Right? Real estate, notes, mortgage, private placements, precious metals, all that stuff. Anybody have any investments that they're questioning? Say it again. Precious stones are collectibles and they're not really allowed. So, in your IRA. This is the types of real estate. This is the types of notes that are here. How many people in here buy notes or generate them? My couple people back there. Yeah, a lot of the vendors and the board members, Eric. So, right, private lending, real estate backed. Here's a quick story. I know I'm running over time. That's why I'm going to come back. But I learned in real estate, right? My dad died, and I needed money to finish the estate. I didn't know about this mortgage he had out there, and they were going to close the account down. So I borrowed money. He was, cash poor, land rich. I put a mortgage on something, looked at it really quick. It looked like it was a IRA, but I didn't have time to do it. But I closed everything out in about 9 months. I called the guy up and I said, look, he lent me the money at 12%. It was at a default rate of 28%. So I cut the bleeding in half, or a little bit more than half. And, and this is what helped me change my whole mindset. He says, I said, I've got I can get a loan for 6%. If you let me have this at 7% and don't make me go through that, I'll let you keep the loan. He laughed. You'll let me keep the loan? And I said, this guy, I was full of myself at that point. I thought I was pretty smart. And I said, yeah, I'll let you keep 7%. He says, when you talked to me, it was 18 and 12, right? I looked at your property, it was low loan to value, I gave you 12%. And I said, I know, but how fast are you going to get that money out back on the street? He says, I'll get that money back on the street within 2 or 3 days of you giving it to me. It doesn't take me long. There's a lot more people calling to borrow money than there is people calling to lend you money. And I said, yeah, that's good. I said, but now what happens if you get somebody in there and they don't pay you and you got to, evict them and take the property? He says to me, right, I'm thinking I'm working on him. He says, I wanted to do that, especially to you. You see the loan to value there? How much am I going to make if I take your property? And I'm like, holy mackerel, what is this guy doing, right? And, I was like, oh, okay. I called up the bank. I needed a loan, to pay him back. I couldn't even talk to the guy after that. But, so it changed my mindset from, so what if I have to foreclose? How much money am I going to make on that? Just make sure when you cut the deal that it's a good deal, right? And that you want the property. And that's where he was. So from that point, right, and I mean, I'm launching rockets out of Kennedy Space Center. Shuttles are going up. Things are good. But my whole mindset gets thrown out of whack. And I have to think stuff because now this guy's making 12 to 18%, and he's lending to people like me that aren't going to let that property go no matter what. And he doesn't have to go to work, and I'm getting up and driving every morning. I'm going, I'm doing something wrong here. So I really appreciate the guy. I mean, he got me down from where I was, but what he taught me for the rest of my life was really good. So that's just something that's there. You guys know what real estate is. Private lending, there's all kinds of notes that can be out there. If you want to know what kind of notes, look at Jay over there, all the things he does with the money, right? Commercial or residential, private placements, right? How does the process work? You think this is hard? Remember, they said it was complex. You open up an account just like you do a bank account. You put money into it. You can put the money in it 3 ways: a contribution, a transfer from another IRA, or a rollover from an old 401k. Pretty simple. And then you go find out what you want to buy. Some of you want to buy real estate. Some of you want to lend your money at 12% or 15%. Don't you want to do that in a tax advantage plan? Instead of just on the outside, you don't pay any taxes, you have more to do it with, right? You make your investment. The investment is made in the name of CamaPlan for the benefit of Eric's IRA or Greg's IRA or Anna's IRA. And that's how it's all booked. The money comes in made out to that, and we put it into your account. You go online, you look at it. We sign for the IRA after you tell us to sign it. You've read it and approved it. We sign for it, and you look online for the money coming in, right? What's the economy doing here? This is where you guys come in. It's going good? What's real estate doing? Is real estate going up or down here? Still going up, huh? Okay, you guys still have a low inventory. So every place I've been, that's the case. Now, I'm in Florida and I see it, right? It's going down where? Oh, okay, I don't know whereabouts in Florida you are. I can't hear you.
Over in Broward County and Martin County, Okeechobee County, it's going down.
Broward County?
Yep.
Okay, any properties that are going down in Broward, let me know about, because that's where I live. Okay? What? Yeah, they're still buying. I
Yeah.
mean, and you know, and BPM RIA, Anish Dobby down there, you know, they're still finding deals and doing it, but that property is going up. And all the people from New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey have been moving down there.
Right.
And, you know, even the lots are still increasing. But I guess it depends exactly where you're talking about. There's probably some neighborhoods that are going down. I haven't found any. And I thought they were going to go down 2 years ago. So it's local real estate. You know, people up in my office sold their houses in Pennsylvania, and it's still going up there. And I don't know where all the people are coming for the loans and stuff, but that's what's going on out there. Interest rates, where are they? If you go to borrow money from a bank? 7% for a house, right? How about for an investment property? 8.6, right? Right. What do we see? We see real estate staying steady. It's probably the least thing that it's appreciated a lot. A house in 2019 is double what it is in 2024. If you paid $1.5 million, it's $3 million. If you paid $100,000, it's $200,000 today. Right? Affordability for houses, terrible, right? I mean, you look at these kids coming out of college and what they're making, how can they afford to buy a house? Interest rates are up and prices are up. I've never seen that in my whole life, right? Okay, so somebody's helping you with the down payment. They don't do the whole thing, do they? So.
Yeah, there's stuff that covers the whole down payment.
Okay. What? Affordability, oh, her question? What she said was there's a down payment. Some people in Toledo give you a down payment assistance, right? And I mean, there are government grants and things like that, but I never seem to qualify. Yeah. What are taxes doing? The prices go up on the house, does the taxes go down? What do? They go up, right? Right? So what do you want to do? These are opportunities. We'll talk about this, you know, at the end of the month on our class. Right? Are you scared? Don't be scared. Look at what the economy's giving you and turn it into a positive. Make that work for you. That's what the smart people do. Do you have to change? How many people believe set it and forget it? You know, maybe that works for that rotisserie, but it sure doesn't work in real estate. You can't do the same thing today that you were doing 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Am I right? Okay. Paralyzed, somebody already talked about that. Survive or thrive, right? Don't you, you know, survive till 25, right? That's the new cry out there, right? Thrive to 25, right? Be looking for this stuff and turn it into where you're thriving. Don't go home nervous and scared, right, and worrying about stuff. Just say, what do I need to do to pivot? Just like that guy made me change my mind. Right? Structure trumps strategy. A lot of people only know one way, you know, hey, I buy subject twos. I buy all cash. I buy with mortgages. Figure out what your structure is. If it's not working in today's economy, change it. We'll discuss these types of things. I can't get to them all today. I love this chart because here's another thing they don't teach you, right? If you borrowed $100,000, you know, let's say 24 months ago, you'd be paying 3%. I've got a loan on my house at 2.75. But that $100,000 costs you $475 a month, right? If you do it at 6%, it costs you $645 a month. And what did you say, 8.6% for investment property? What are we buying mostly? We already bought our home. You buy a lot more investment property than you do your home or homes, right? So at 9%, it's $840 a month, right? 170 more, 365 more, 77%. And these yahoos in Washington are telling me inflation's at 2 and 3%, right? I don't know where they are, right? But that bites into a lot of 2 or 3%. And I've only shopped, I think, maybe 4 times this year, and 2 of them were in the last month. And I average a bag of groceries is $10 when I walk out of the store. I mean, some of it's bread, some of it's meat, some of it's milk. So I don't know where they're coming up with those numbers, but that's how much it is, right? Think about these people that have apartment buildings with a lot of loans on them that were at 3% and now they're at 9%, right? They're going to start throwing the keys back at the multifamily, except the rents keep going up, right? I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't know if it's COVID money. I don't know if somebody's printing it out there or what, but have you ever thought about it like that? Some of you guys that had loans of $100,000, I mean, that's what caught my attention. I said, why are we going down faster now? He says, well, you got these loans out there and they're variable. I go, well, that wasn't very bright of me, was it? Here's the same thing, right? 475 does, right, if you look at it the other way and you say, what's the value of my property? If I could sell this to you at $475, at 3% you could pay $100,000. At 6% you can only pay $73,000 for that house. At 9% you can only pay $57,000. So how is property values rising, and right, who's paying these amounts of money, right? So now you have to think about this and go through it, right? These are pivot points. We'll talk about that at the end of the month if you guys want to come to a day with us, right? These are different things that other people have seen based on what the economy's doing. We'll go through that. How many people know what a wrap mortgage is? Right? If you've got a 3% mortgage and you sell that property and people want to, right, instead of paying 8.5, they pay you 7, and you're making that money on your 3% money plus any extra you added them, isn't that a pretty good deal? Could you do that in your IRA? Sure you can. I sold a property in my IRA. I took back the mortgage and I just raised it from 6% to 10.5%. I haven't even signed the papers yet. Is any of this making sense? Is there ways to, right? And then if you couple that with the tax-free side of it, you're good to go, right? Options, we'll talk about those. Here's what Anna said, and we have 20 ways to finance a property if your IRA wants to buy it or if it wants to get involved. There's 20 different ways to it. I could give you a handout, but we have a link on our website that you can get this downloaded to you, or you can just look at it on your website. Is that fair? And if you have any questions, you can schedule a consult. And how much are we going to charge you for the consult? We're going to give you it for free because you're part of Anna's group. But you have to tell us that. Otherwise, you're going to get the other information. Right? Navigating the IRS rules. Somebody was saying, right? Metal, right? Any metal or gems. These are the collectibles and life insurance. You can't buy that with your IRA, right? There are some minted coins and precious metals you can buy, but the government basically says they have to be a certain standard, right? You can't deal with yourself, so if you buy a property in your IRA, you have to rent it. You can't live in it. You can't even use it. You know, even if it's not rented. So don't make that. You can blow up your IRA if you do that. This right here tells you people you can't have your IRA deal with. They're mostly lineal descendants, so I can't have my IRA sell something to my grandson. I can't buy it from my son or my grandfather. Any lineal ascendants are disqualified from working with your IRA. Aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews, all those people you can deal with. All right, so being part of National RIA, which Toledo RIA is, you get these deals. Okay, you can open up a new account and fund it, for $25. But Joe already let the cat out of the bag and gave it to you for $1. Okay, and I'll hold that. Yeah, he's not coming next time. So we'll do that. No annual fees until you do your first deal, right? So if you open up your account, get your money there, and I don't care how much you get. Well, it's cheaper if you get $4,000 or more in there. We won't charge you anything. And if you don't have anything on the books, you don't get charged anything for that. But free consultations, so you'll get a half an hour consultation with me or my sister. You just have to schedule it. 1 year VIP customer service. You're going to find out a lot about our customer service, and you won't even need the VIP service. We're good. We're really good. 95% of our deals go out within 48 hours of you getting us the paperwork. Way better than our competitors. One free expedited transaction, so if you need something to go out in a day, we'll do it, and I think that's worth $150. And two free wires going out. I think that is around $800 worth of value there. And I'm going to give you one more tidbit of information. How many in here have savings accounts? Okay. Are they sitting in savings accounts? All right, well, think about this. If you get sued, who looks at your savings and checking accounts? Who? You've been there, it sounds like. No, but you're right. Your attorney looks at it because he wants to get paid, and the people suing you, attorney looks at it. So what you want to do, this is just free asset protection, open up a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA and put your money in it. Okay, instead of a savings account, just keep it there because your savings account is there. If you want to invest it, you can, but most savings accounts you hold there for a rainy day. You can take that money out of a Roth account anytime you want because you've already paid the taxes. So open up a Roth account and put your savings account in there if you want free asset protection. Yes, ma'am. Hang on, let her get you the microphone, but that's a really good question.
Is there a limit on the amount you can put into the Roth from your savings account?
Yes, there's always a limit on any contributions. The limit on the contributions into your Roth, IRA, sorry. It's my age, coming through, Alzheimer's or Partzheimer's. So it's like $7,000 this year that you can put in there. Now you can put up to $62,000 in your Roth 401k. So you just need to look at that. But maybe you don't believe me. Just put $7,000 in your Roth IRA this year, and then put $7,000 in it next year. Until you and do it for 10 years till you have all $70,000. How much do you want in your savings account? You need quite a bit sometimes. Yeah, well, yeah, you do, but you want to work on a system where you don't go into your savings account. I always think of my savings account as sacred, right? I really need that in case something really, really blows it. Equity lines are out there and things like that. And we can talk about those types of things.
So I've been told that your IRA, typically a Roth or a traditional, typically doubles around every 7 years or so on average, historically speaking. Is that accurate?
No.
No, it's not.
No.
Okay.
It's not accurate. That's something that people made up, and it depends on what you invest in it. I've seen people's IRAs go down to nothing. I saw Enron's 401k people after they lost their job and their 401k go down to nothing. So there's two things I say you have to pay attention to. And I don't say do it on your own, but do your own health decisions and do your own financial decisions. Bring in as many people as you need to soundboard it, but you got to be in control of that. You're going to have somebody else cut your grass or wash your windows or paint your house, but you got to spend your time, at least some of it, and be in control of your financials and your health. Thanks, Anna, for putting those out. Anna's passing out papers on things we'll cover. Does that answer your question?
Well, also, what's the potential of self-directed compared to traditional law? I mean, has there been any stats or studies or any data?
The question is, what's the stats on self-directed versus non-self-directed? If you're just going to put your money in the stock market, you can look at their fees, and you make 7% a year, and you can figure out how soon that's going to double up. People in real estate, it's hard for them to talk about it because sometimes they'll buy a house for $40,000, put $20,000 into it, and sell it for $100,000 in a year, right? So you put $60,000 into it total, and you made 40%. That's 67%. Okay, that's the numbers. You know, I look at the deal, right? I try not to do any deal that's less than 500,000 that I can make, or 12% is kind of the lowest I go. It's more like 15. And the reason is because my time is very valuable because you've got a lot more runway than I do, right? So here's the deal. If you guys want to go to the class on the 29th, these are the advanced strategies we're going to go over. But I recommend that you have an IRA, you think about it and make the decision for this. But these are some good ways to navigate whatever's happening in your economy and to also use tax advantage tools. Hopefully you understand the value of the tax advantage tools. A lot of people say it's from the wealthy and things. Anna, did she leave? Did you say that if they signed up tonight, they got half off?
Little Rita will pay half for you, but yes.
Okay.
Half off if you sign up tonight, because I'm also providing, Little Rita's providing breakfast and lunch, so.
Breakfast and lunch comes with it, so we're not only pay half, we're going to provide breakfast and lunch. Because I want to know how many people are going to be there, so I know how much breakfast and lunch to bring, right?
Yep. And here's one more thing. People are always asking me, do I have to wait till I'm 59 and a half to get my money out? This group, most of the people in this group don't have that problem, but some of you do. The answer is no. There's other ways to get it out, right? And we'll cover those. We're going to talk about exit strategies, and we're going to talk about passing it on to your children. One of the law changes was you could no longer have a stretch IRA. All of my estate planning was have all my money in my IRAs and a Roth IRA and pass it on to my kids and grandkids, right? And then that would go for a century the way I had it set up. Trump got rid of that in 2019. So from 2020, I've been trying to figure that out, and I've got a couple of strategies that we can cover on that. One more quick, go ahead.
One more quick question. So if you buy...
Hang on, let her use that.
Sorry, one more thing. So let's say you buy a fix and flip, and you buy it with your self-directed IRA, and then you sell it and you make a $40,000 profit like we just discussed. There's no capital gains tax on that money?
No.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, this is why people say, what am I doing with that, right? But in that case, it's short-term capital gains, and you got to make sure it isn't a business, but even the long-term capital gains, there isn't any tax. If it's in a Roth. If it's in the traditional, you're going to pay tax when you pull it out, right? So what do you think I'm a fan of, traditional or Roth? Roth, right. And I've been talking Roth since I started the company. Any other questions? Because you guys have been very kind to, is this better than you thought it was when you came? A couple of them are smiling, the rest of you want to get out of here, so. Anything else we need to do, Anna? Are they going to come over to, where are we going?
We are now going to the Twin Peaks tonight on Monroe Street.
What?
Oh, we're going to Twin Peaks on Monroe Street. I know you're all used to going to Doris Street, but their chef is not in tonight. So we'll be at Twin Peaks, and you can ask all the personal questions you want
Yeah,
and get ready to take the workshop.
yeah, he's actually opening up his IRAs tonight. There we go. At least I got one laugh. All right, thank you guys very much. If I can answer any questions, feel free.